I welcome you all to my video channel, Down to Earth Views. I've been for the last almost couple of months, especially since November 3rd, I've been following the U.S. elections and the shenanigan that has been going on for the last almost 6 weeks. And I kept thinking, why is this going on in a country where the democracy had or had have the strongest possible roots in the world, and where the systems and where the process are well established and people have learned to live with it. Why is this all of a sudden started? And I kept thinking, and I said, look, what is the reason? Um, I think, in my view, there is a very good reason for that. But first of all, I want to say that in this election process, both Biden, Democrats, and Donald Trump and the Republicans have won in a different way. Biden has won because he's got his 40 years dream come true to become the president, and now he's the president of the USA. Democrats won because, of course, their candidate won, and they will probably be now sitting on the other side of the bench and doing whatever they want to do and carry on the agenda. So, I mean, they won. How did Donald Trump won? I mean, why do I think he's won? Well, I like to take it back to give you a little background to it, and why I feel that Donald Trump and Republicans have won, and what have they gained out of it. Well, the it is only two times in the last 30 years that a president with lesser popular vote have formed the government. First was George Bush Jr. and then Donald Trump. Now, Republicans know that this is sort of an exception rather than a norm in the elections that will move forward. So the battle in the court and the battle for trying to overturn the election and essentially basically to discredit or sort of reduce the impact of the mail ballot is to do basically ensure that they have a better chance of winning in the future, and that's why they're fighting this battle. And if you look at the Republicans who come and speak on television or whatever, they say it's the future, that they're more worried about than the present, because they know that in the future that they might have a tough time in forming the government, because more and more population is becoming liberal than moving towards conservative school of thoughts. So that's one. So their future is at stake, and that's why they're fighting. Now, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, and I think the Republican Party also sort of went along with him. Um, this really, the whole thing started in 2016. If you recall, Trump, even for Trump, even before that, Trump said in one of his interviews, and I heard it on television, that look, and the anchor asked him a question: would you consider running for the presidential elections? He said, yeah, I will. And if I do, I'd choose Republican, because he used the word, if I recall correctly, Republicans, party followers or supporters are dumb or stupid. And then you can basically get them to believe in everything that you say. So he said that would be the best platform to fight the election, given his predisposition or mindset. Secondly, in 2016, if you recall, he was asked a question that, would you accept the election result? He said, no, we'll have to see what the results are, and then I can only comment. So, I mean, the point that his he was going to reject the election results is not an afterthought. It's a thought that basically he had all along as a part of his strategy, and for very good reason. And the reason is that, suppose If Trump had basically conceded the election and said, look, I've lost, okay, and basically was prepared to go home without any questioning, what would have happened? Republican party and Donald Trump would have eventually been said, okay, he's lost, and people would have resigned to the fact and this fact and has basically eventually forgotten him. But he said no. He basically had in mind how to monetize the loss as well. So he basically started, in my view, and the Republicans are part of it, uh, to create this impression that they won the election, but they've lost through rigging or fraud or whatever. Why? Because after you lose out, people just forget about you and not give you money for support or donation or whatever, to the party or to the candidate, and because they don't want to give money to the loser. So he said, look, I'm a winner, but this has been dropped from me. Why? Because he could basically then mobilize his supporters to give him money for whatever reason. He claims he's got to fight a legal battle, and Republicans say that they're behind it, they're fighting it, whatever means they have, and therefore the money is pouring in. Now, as a result of that, Republican Party and Donald Trump have raised 200 million. And how is this going to be distributed? 70-30. So 30% goes to the party, which means $60 million, with which they can pay the bills and whatever expenses they had during the election campaign or whatever, and then the rest they can keep. And Donald Trump has pocket 140 million potentially, and then he can use that for his legal battles in the future, whether it relates to his personal issues or it relates to the government or whatever. So what Trump has very smartly done, and he had planned for it, not now, it's been planned, he's monetized his loss as compared to the other outgoing presidents who basically would concede defeat and then just go into oblivion, and they would be forgotten until maybe some fine day where they need somebody to fight, do the election campaign. So I think it's a win-win for both Biden, because he got the presidency, and then Trump, because he made the money out of his loss. I mean, guys, look at it. Is smart, and I think it's very, very smart. Is the who lost out are the Republican support base conservatives who are, in my view, are very naive. They're good people. Probably they really believe that their candidate was made to lose because of this fraudulent election process, and they're giving money. So I mean, as of now, and it's still ticking, Trump is about 207 million. Well, the Republican Party has got 207 million money collected, of which Trump gets 60% and they get 30%, and it's still counting. And the reason I'm saying that this is a deliberate attempt to make money out of this loss, because look at the evidence that has been presented. I mean, there's just nothing. Look at the law firms or the lawyers who are fighting the illegal battles for him. They're not recognized. They're not good law firms. They're just people we don't know, Rudy Giuliani and some of the others, and they have not provided a single evidence in the court. So they know that this is not going to win. They're not going to win. They just basically have tried to make an issue out of it, and then in a hope, and they've very successfully done it, to raise money out of people, which otherwise would not have happened. Trump would have gone with all the liabilities on his head, and he would have fought his own battle with his own money. Now he's got 140 million. I don't know if that could be he could be stopped from using it, because he basically asked for a different asked for it for a different purpose. But I don't know. I mean, he still he's got 140 million, and he's monetized that, and he's positioned himself for the future. So in my view, it's a win for him. I mean, how I, a losing president, which he knows he's lost, and he's rightfully, you know, gotten, the other guys have won rightfully. He knows, and then he's making all this thing and make money. I mean, he'll be $140 million rich if he can pocket all that money. So this is where it is. But above in keeping uh, Donald Trump and Joe Biden aside, the real winner is who? Kamala Harris. This is he is the real victor. She's laughing at all this and she said, "Okay, I'm now the vice president. After 4 years, she probably would be a Democrat nominee as an incumbent if Joe Biden is not around. Even if he's around, she can still be the vice president for the next 4 years. But when Joe Biden leaves, if he if his health fails him or he just is not around, she takes over and she becomes the candidate for the Republican for the Democrats. So she is in real good spot, whether somebody likes it or not. And in my view, Donald Trump and Republicans won uh, in terms of money, raising money. Biden wants to get the president, become the president or presidentship. Kamala Harris won because she holds the best in terms of the future. So this is my conspiracy theory. If you like it, fine. If you don't like it, just discard it. But this is honestly, I think, is happening, and it's too crude. I mean, anybody with uh, who puts a little bit of mind to what's happening and looks at it from a pragmatic point of view would know that this guy has done well for himself, like he has always done, monetized everything that you can, and that's how he operates. So, in my view, he's a winner in that respect. So, hope you all have a good time, enjoy yourself, and watch the shenanigan taking its natural course, and finally decide who won and who lost. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.